Long before comic book movies came onto the scene, great stories were already being told on the page for decades. And while Marvel Studios has expertly mined the Hollywood talent pool from day one, they're becoming so prolific, and so many other studios are now creating their own comic book movies, well, clearly that well of talent is only so deep. That means it's only a matter of time until Marvel Studios has to make some more creative choices when it comes to behind-the-scenes talent, and that time has come with Thor: The Dark World. Interestingly, Marvel Studios is taking their cues from the fans. For instance, when you think of medieval battle and intrigue, it's not Thor that comes to mind despite the success of the Avengers. Instead, it's HBO's Game of Thrones, which has just kicked off its third season. And viewers don't just watch Game of Thrones, it's been discovered that it has the highest fan engagement rate of any show on television. In fact, back in 2011, when Game of Thrones held its first Comic-Con panel, 5,000 people showed up to create a 4-hour line. And this past weekend, Time Warner Cable opened up Game of Thrones The Exhibition in Midtown Manhattan, where on Saturday the line extended for several blocks all day long. So it seems a no-brainer that when their creative Hollywood pick for director Patty Jenkins dropped out, Marvel Studios decided to think even more outside the box and set their sights on not one, but two Game of Thrones directors, Alan Taylor and Daniel Minahan. They ultimately went with Taylor, who had directed the season 2 finale. But one wonders why Marvel Studios didn't go after Neil Marshall, who directed the stunning Blackwater episode, as well as the feature films The Descent and Centurion. But odds are Taylor was cheaper. Oh, Marvel, you have the money. But even beyond selecting a Game of Thrones director for their Thor sequel, Marvel Studios has made an even more interesting creative choice, and that's hiring comic book and animation writer Christopher Yost on as one of the film's screenwriters. He joins prolific screenwriting duo Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who wrote the Chronicles of Narnia movies, the first Captain America, and are writing Cap's sequel as well as Thor's. They're also the writers on Pain and Gain. Not a bad resume, but in the world of comics and to fans, Yost's is better. Yost was a writer on fan-favorite series X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men before he was promoted to head writer on both Iron Man Armored Adventures and The Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That last one featured plenty of Thor action, and fans were incredibly disappointed when Marvel and Disney decided to cancel it in favor of the new Marvel Cinematic Universe-oriented Avengers Assemble. In comics, he's written literally hundreds of stories, including the introduction of X-23, who his frequent writing partner Craig Kyle created, into the pages of Marvel Comics from their show X-Men Evolution. He's also who Marvel picked to adapt Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game novels, and who wrote the solo title of many fans' favorite Robin, Tim Drake, in Red Robin. These days, he's currently writing Scarlet Spider. So do you think that a movie which will feature Thor traveling the 9 realms and fighting dark elves needs that fanboy touch to really sell those elements, or a more mainstream touch to ensure crossover appeal? And even with Taylor and Yost, do you think they can copy the success, or at least the fan fervor, of Game of Thrones and Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Are those two even a match? Write your thoughts down below. I'm Grace Randolph, and this has been a Movie Bite. You can watch more right now.